So hopefully this is right side up. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Gonna do some TTM recaps. Since last time, it hasn't been a month since my last upload, so that's cool. And I have more autographs to show than I did that last recap, which was a month in between videos. So yeah, not much going on here. Just week 2 away from football, so it's been nice. Brewers are done, unfortunately. World Series is settled. That's the Red Sox, so yay for them. So yeah, things are just calming down. Packers, Ty Montgomery messed the bed in that game. That was crazy though, man. That Ty Montgomery return, and knowing that he tried doing that crap in what was it, the 2012 Fiesta Bowl, and his teammate like knocked him down at the goal line. Check that out on YouTube. 2012 Ty Montgomery, Stanford. I think they were ranked 4 in the bowl game, and I forgot who kicked off, but they kicked it off from like the 30, and they nutted it like down 8 yards deep in the end zone. And dude tried bringing that thing out, and his teammate was sitting at the goal line and literally like knocked him backwards right at the goal line to keep him in the end zone. But man, that's so whack when you really think about all the players, the staff, the travel, the team meetings, all this stuff to win a football game. 2 minutes to go, you're down 2, and dude thinks he's too close to the goal line and fields the ball and runs it out and gets drilled at the 16. I was so pissed, not about so much about the loss, just the stupidity. Being a football coach, you know, I know in bigger games, like, it's all mental, you know, at all levels. Even for me in youth football, big games really, if you don't just keep your composure, stay focused on your task, control your heart rate, things can get away from you. So with this dude though, I mean, the kickoff, instructed not to return it. And I think in the NFL the rule is now if you kick it and if they kick it and it bounces into the end zone and you don't field it, they just call it dead. Whereas, you know, back in the day, if it was left in the end zone, you know, the other team could cover it for a touchdown. But NFL with the concussion rule and trying to protect returners, they just blow that stuff dead, and the dude freaking just crazy. So but yeah, the Packers are only a game out. Speaking of game out, I'm a game out of one of my fantasy football leagues. I'm 5-3, enjoying that since I had the 12th pick out of 12 teams. Not bad to be, you know, tied for second at 5-3. I think the first place is 6-2, so I'm doing pretty good at that. My ESPN league, my TTM league, not so good. I think I'm bouncing back. I started out like 0-4. I think I might be 3-4 right now. We'll see. So anyways, let's get to some autographs. I have no idea what I'm doing this weekend. I know one thing I am doing though. I have a party tomorrow night, Saturday, and church on Sunday, stuff like that. So to the autographs, right? I got 2 PC updates. The last recap, I might have shown the card that I bought, and I actually got this guy TTM. He's actually currently training in California, in town from the Philippines. His wife actually took over his Facebook Messenger, messaged me, told me, hey, sorry that the other TTMs were lost in previous attempts, send another one, and I'll be sure he gets it done. I mean, I got updates up the wazoo. They showed me the received TTM. She took a video of him receiving it, and they took another 2-minute video of him signing it. Called me a super pro, because I was fully prepared for this TTM. I sent the marker, I sent the 3-pocket sleeve for the cards to be returned safely, a 6x9 return mailer, so all I had to do was no licking it, just do the metal clasp on the back. It was just funny to hear him say, this dude's a super pro. So I am a super pro. I wish I was a super pro at other things other than TTMs, because TTMs, you know, it's just a hobby. It's not like retirement funds or financial planning or gambling. I wish I was a super pro at stuff like that. But I'll take this as a hobby. I'll be good at my hobby, right? Why not? First one coming in from overseas. I've had this guy's cards in my collection for years, just so long, and as guys get more and more away from competition and are retired, they're easier to get a hold of, some of these older guys, like these lesser known guys. So I actually got this guy who on his Topps cards is not shown in a very favorable light. I'll show you the one of the two that's it's his Topps card from 2009, the second series that Topps came out with. This is Topps 2009 round 2. David Barron is the guy that's not in the good position. He's this guy. The guy behind him is Jim Miller. So you can see how Topps did this in 2009 round 2. They actually had David Barron versus Jim Miller at the event. So it's kind of an old school design, right? Well, in 2015 they came out with Chronicles. I'm gonna have to hit a focus on this. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Hit a focus? I don't know. So here you see it's Barron versus Miller, and this card is like a reprint sort of this one, right? Same fight, same guys. Come to find out, this was the 1000th UFC fight back in 2008. So, and David Barron here is the guy kind of being choked out there. So he has kind of a neat signature. His letter signature was way better, but the card auto is different. Look at that. David Barron sent me a letter back in French. Only part that I got was bonjour. Bonjour. So I got 2 from him. Nice to knock those out. He was cool with it. I sent him one to keep. I think one of the red ones I sent him to keep. So it was nice to get those back from Paris, France. What else did I get? I think I told you in my last video, I've been sending out first card, kind of like rookie cards for UFC. They do have the RC on these cards, or at least this one does. 2008 Knockout. The RC or the rookie logo is right there. So this is Trevin Giles. Yeah, Trevin Giles. Inscribed it The Problem. He had his own blue. Getting blue from somebody who you don't send the blue to is always really cool in my mind, in my opinion. So here is the Chrome, 2018 Chrome. So like I said, I've been sending out some newer guys who are quicker turnaround, and nice just to get TTM back of guys I haven't had in my collection before. Speaking of which, here's another one. Bilal Muhammad, remember the name as his nickname. Muslim guy, obviously. He's local here to Rufus Sport, Milwaukee, so I got this back in like 10 days. Giles, I think, was two weeks. Here's quite the opposite of this on this one. This one came back, and I don't know about you guys, but I have informed delivery. And sometimes an informed delivery on your SASEs, you can see through it. All I could see was kind of like that part of the card. So I'm like, man, who did I send to Florida? A 16 knockout. And I searched and searched, but I didn't search far back enough in my spreadsheet. 495 days later, Sugar Rashad Evans, who recently retired, signed 5 of 5 for me. And when my son checked it out for me, when he got home from school, I hit him up on Instagram, and he showed me 2 cards signed. He said there was only 2 in there. My spreadsheet showed I sent 5 and 1 to keep. I get home, and there's still 3 cards in the SASE. Rashad didn't use my my 3-pocket sleeve to send them back in, so they're just a stack of 5. But just weird that he can only grab 2 and think that the envelope was empty. I think he had Call of Duty or what's the other one? You know, what's the other game? The only other game that's in existence right nowadays. Not Madden. Fortnite. Probably had that on his brain. Here's a PC update. Got this via purchase from Canada. I think I paid like $4 shipped for this. This will replace the gold version I have in my collage. So this is one of the 2 PC updates I got. So this is Brendan Schaub. He's the Fighter and the Kid. He's the fighter portion of the Fighter and the Kid podcast. And getting really popular on the comedic tour, or in the comedic scene. I think he's one of those CAA guys. That CAA agency, creative arts agency or whatever in California. Like everybody is in that frickin' it's nearly like a cult. They all kind of help each other out, which is good for them, their career. But CAA just cut that one, like Megyn Kelly, talking about people dressed up in blackface, and she ignorantly didn't know what was wrong with that. They freaking cut her. So if you're not drinking the Kool-Aid and saying all the same stuff like in a cult, they just they just lop you. So that's the only weird part about that. Then I had a trade, 12 of 12, 12 for 12 trade with a guy on the TTM MMA group. I got this, I think this came from, it's just an insert from the Chrome series, but it's from the top tier, not top, was it? Frick. Oh my goodness, I'm such a dummy right now. Oh, yeah, that's it. Top of the class. There was a top of the class series that came out that was really crappy, really thick cards, but they look like this, but they ended up reprinting these in the newer release. So here's Cody, No Love Garbrandt. I got to get that David off of there. The guy I traded with was David, but he wanted to get rid of a bunch of his portrait cards, and I just did a 12 of 12 trade with him. Nice and easy. So this was a Forrest Griffin I'd never got back. John Dodson. This is some sort of a climbing the ranks. And then the next John Dodson is the same exact freaking picture, just a different insert. So they're in some funny blue. Again, just cards I haven't had signed before. Doesn't matter who they are, as long as I get rid of some of my extras and get some guys in return. Here's Demetrius Johnson on 2. Demetrius Johnson is part of that trade that UFC and One Championship Fight League made a trade for. So Demetrius Johnson was the 125-pound champ. Pretty sure the UFC is going to just dissolve the 125 weight division. They just they don't sell well, and people aren't interested in these little guys fighting. I've been to 2 of Demetrius's main events, one in Chicago, one in Vegas, and literally half the crowd leaves after the co-main event. The main event is usually Demetrius because he's the champ, but here's Luke Rockhold, 17 knockout. And fighters leave cage side too, so it's not just fans. And then you can't have too many Chuck Liddells. There's my man Chuck right there. I've gotten this card signed once or twice, but if it's available for trade, I'm going to snag it. And then I made a purchase. These were freaking dirt cheap. I saw them posted on an MMA group, and I just freaking jumped at it. I only wanted these of what were available, so I picked up all the round ones I wanted. It ended up being like $2 a piece. I mean, this one alone, people will pay $20 for that all day. This is just hard to get. Ben Saunders fighting Saturday on UFC 230. Mike Swick, yep. Luis Kane, super hard to get, Brazilian fighter. Sam Stout, hard to get because he's a Canadian fighter and retired. And then really hard to get, now a CAA, member of the CAA agency, or CAA is his rep, I think. Michael the Count Bisping, one of my favorite fighters of all time. Great success story. Really good guy. So yeah, I got his wraps and I got his freaking round 5 figure up there. And lastly is that TTM that I was called a Super Pro. And here's a PC update right here. I purchased this card recently and it was signed up here. I've already taken that one out of the binder and sent it off to get dual signed by Randy Couture. So this is the one that he signed for me, TTM, with my blue Sharpie. Brandon the Truth Vera, I think he's the heavyweight champ of One Championship. The same place for Demetrius Johnson. Here's a round 1, look at that. Just spanked that sucker. A little bit hard to see, blue on dark, but that's fine with me. Looks better in person. And then this one is dark too because my iPhone doesn't record well. This is again another old card. So that's it. Thanks for hanging with me. I bought some pages today on the way home from work. So DK is going to fill my binder up with some backup cards that needed space. That's it. I'll have a good weekend, and that's it. Talk to you later. See you in church.